I'm on you!
There's a grenade!
What the hell?
Get him! Behind fire! Stick with that heat! See that? What's wrong?
Let's see you run now.
Who's got spear ammo?
True Sun's munitions factory is out of action and they lost a big stockpile. Hello and welcome to another Division 2 video. Yes, in this video I'll fulfill another request, or many of them I got from a previous video, my solo run on Jefferson Plaza in Legendary, not Legendary, in Heroic difficulty for sure, and I'll present you my build here in this video. But before I start with this one, I'll just talk about another topic, build related as well for sure. In my opinion, the three biggest mistakes players do or agents do when they considering crafting a build for themselves. And after this I'll show you and explain you my three main topics or things you should look at that drive factor if you create a build for yourself, a really decent one. And at the end of the video, after I show you my build, I'll just leave 2-3 sentences about the skill builds right now in the Division 2 at the current state, what I think about them at the moment. But let's get right into the video and start with the three biggest mistakes in my opinion that players do when they're dealing around with their build. So first of all, the main reason or the main mistake in my opinion is that many people just try to copy paste a build they see on YouTube. I know I do build videos as well, but usually I always give a warning too, so you should not switch off your brain. You should still use it, because right now in the Division 2, at least for me, it's really fucking hard to get the right pieces with the right stats and talents on it. It's almost impossible, in my opinion, to get really the right perfect piece for yourself. And yeah, this makes it pretty much impossible as well to just copy paste the build you see on YouTube, because it's such a hard thing to get the right pieces. Make it short, yeah. And what do you get if you do so? It's just a second class, let's say Vector, Berserk, Clutch build, whatever, and not a first class, world class own build you can create by yourself. And yes, at the moment there's so many freaking awesome talents and stuff in the game that you can create really a lot of viable builds for both PvE and PvP. And yeah, that's why you should let you inspirate fly. Okay, really annoying, sorry. You should inspirate yourself for sure for videos and watch build videos, but yeah, always have a look how can you create a really own decent build by yourself. So this is the first mistake. Then the second one, in my opinion, I'll show you quickly the overview of my build here, and you can see there is a score on the left side in the middle of the screen for 88, the gear score, and you see 2 firearm stats, 7 in endurance or stamina and 12 in electronics. And yes, many people just think this, when you have low firearm stats, so not that many, then you don't deal that much damage, and this is completely wrong. So even if you have low red ones or not that many, it doesn't mean that you don't deal any damage. For sure it's different what stats you should use in PvE and PvP as well, but as I said before, you have so many freaking awesome talents on the gear that you can still have a pretty decent damage output, although you don't have that many red stats on your build. For sure, if you want to go for crit chance, crit damage, then you need a lot of red ones as well, but otherwise you can deal really a lot of damage. And yeah, I guess I would not be able to finish a solo heroic mission if I wouldn't deal any damage at all. So this is a wrong opinion as well. And the last one to finish it off, there are quite a lot of videos out there, build videos, that will present you how proud they are of the decent damage output, DPS on the shooting range, and yeah, how awesome to build this, 2 million damage DPS and stuff like this. And yeah, nice numbers. In the end, it doesn't matter at all in my opinion, because what matters at the end is how the build feels when you practice with them or use it in PvE and PvP content. So do skirmish, do some missions, try it out, figure it out what works for you, because not for everyone the same build suits the same way. You have a different playstyle, whatever, so that's why, in my opinion, DPS means really nothing, almost nothing. For sure, a little bit higher DPS could be good, but at the end of the day, it matters a lot how you feel comfortable. As an example, rifles on console are not that useful, in my opinion, at least if you play with the controller, pretty annoying. And yeah, therefore you can put out a high damage number for sure, but it's not as useful in practice as another build would be. So that's why DPS means not as much as you probably think it does. So then let's continue to the already second topic, and the second topic is the trifactor. You see the picture right now. And yeah, I put this picture together. I hope it was long enough so that you were able to do a screenshot if you like so to do. And yeah, this is a trifactor I put together, and I think is the most important things you should have in mind when you create your own decent build, with the main topics as you can see on the top. The most important one, so the weapon type you prefer and the playstyle. As an example for myself, I don't like too much to play upfront and personal, doesn't matter PvE or PvP, and yeah, that's my playstyle. I like more to fight mid-range, or not that much long range, but mid-range is my preferred distance for both of them. And yeah, my preferred weapons are definitely LMGs and assault rifles. So this means already which specialization you should probably choose, because you get a huge benefit as well if you choose the right specialization for the right weapon type, 15% on all of them for some weapon types or categories, and that's really quite a lot. So if you use LMGs or like to use LMGs like me, then probably the Demolitionist is the best one for you as well, and you get some really decent perks too. So to say it right away, for me, Demolitionist, as I said already around 2 months before, is the best one, especially if you play solo. You have such decent perks you can get with it, the talent skill tree, so it's really an awesome specialization. And for sure the specialization weapon, I don't have to talk about this, the grenade launcher is just sick, and the others are just too weak. I really hope they're gonna buff these ones and don't nerf the grenade launcher, it's just too much fun to use. So this is the first thing you should have in mind, playstyle and preferred weapon type. And the next two ones are, on one hand side is weapon damage for sure. Damage is a really important stat as well, and the main things you can increase it is by weapon type, damage, and general weapon or general damage. As you can see on the stats right here, it's for sure the wrong build, not the one I will present you later, but here you can see all weapon damage bonus as an example, and LMG damage bonus, my preferred ones on this one here. And these are important figures as well, and for sure if you're gonna go for crit, then crit is an important stat too. But this one you should have in mind, and there's some really awesome talents like Berserk, like many others as well, that increases your damage too, and in PvE for sure damage to elites, a really important one too. So this one you should have in mind as well. And for me, one of the most important ones, especially now in the Division 2, because they're more squishy, is for sure survivability. Yes, all the blue stuff you can get on the gear, and the main ones is absolutely right, it is armor and health, which you see down below on the circle, where you can see all the main stats you have, so 2 interfirearms and so on and so on. So 260,000 armor on this one here and 51,000 health. This is for sure the main stat for survivability, but then there are other ones as well, as hazard protection, stuff like this, shock resistance and such things like this. And especially with the survivalist, again, you can absorb a grenade each minute as an example, you have burn resistance as an example, so these are really important ones to increase the survivability as well. So this you should have in mind when you create your build, all the 3 stats I figured or I mentioned you right now. And as I said, or as you saw before, the picture then you have listen up everything there. So let's go straight into the build I was using for my solo run on the heroic mission Jefferson Plaza, and for sure I will run this build as well in the upcoming raid. Depends a little bit, we get next week PTS, what they're gonna change and how they're gonna change it, and for sure if I found better pieces, yeah, it still has a lot of potential, this build. It's not close to maxed out, for sure not, and if I found better pieces, for sure I will continuously optimize it. But let's go right into build. And yes, I changed already one thing, the weapon, because I got a better one with a better base damage. So this was the one actually I was using for my solo run. It's an M60 black market as well. They're almost the same talents except the middle one. So here I had a Lager on it as an example, but with lower base damage. On the new one I'm using now the M60 as well, black market, but with extended magazine or mag capacity. Has a certain reason, and the certain reason is the talent on my chest piece I got, and I can explain it to you a little later. Let's go quickly to the mods I use on this baby here, just if you're interested in it. So accuracy, reload speed, and accuracy. And if you have trouble because unhinged on the gun, I used it on every LMG. It's just too awesome, this talent. 25% increased damage is just insane. Really cool. I don't hope they're gonna nerf it, to be honest, because yeah, finally LMGs are useful in the division, and this is a really nice thing to have back from the meta in the previous patches or in the previous game. Yeah, this is a really awesome thing. But if you struggle to control this baby with this talent because you get minus 35% weapon handling, you have different options. So stability on the muzzle, on the underbarrel, and in the, or on the, where it is here, magazine, for sure. You can use this as well. So if you're not able to control it as good, my aim is not the best one for sure as well on the console, but yeah, it works most of the time for me, especially for mid range. Then otherwise you have the chance or the possibility as well to use a gun with the third holster talent overlap, so you can decrease the weapon handling a little bit, because here you can gain handling bonus based on this weapons type for the equipped weapon. So this is an option as well if you struggle sometimes with the stability on this gun when you run unhinged as well. And another option for sure would be if you run ongoing directive, 2 pieces on the gear, then you can get weapon handling as well. Or there is another one you can use, and it's let me quickly see, I should have one on me, Yal gear, because with Yal gear you get weapon handling too. So this would be an option as well. And actually I was using these gloves here as I was running the mission solo, the heroic one. I changed it, I'll tell you this one why later when we come to the gloves. So this is it for the primary. Then as secondary, I mainly use the CTAR. Depends a little bit on the difficulty mission I do. Sometimes I change it out for my sniper here, and you can see I have overlap here as well. I don't care too much about the first talent, it's just my secondary, and for long range distance fights, it works pretty well anyway. So this is my secondary, and yeah, as you see here I still have potential as well. But the CTAR is pretty awesome for me, the new M4 lightweight, just more stable, just a little better. And yeah, the damage for sure is not that high, but for long range it's pretty good, pretty awesome to control even on console with a controller. And yeah, that's why it's not that important what talents I run, it's just my secondary. The main thing was for me to get extra mag capacity, because yeah, because they nerfed unfortunately or changed the weapon mods, unfortunately. I liked it quite a lot, to be honest, with the negative stats as well. But yeah, unfortunately they have to listen a little bit too much to all the crybabies out there. Just a little side note for myself. And yeah, this is my secondary weapon I use here. Let's continue to another topic, survivability as well. The sidearm. So the sidearm, or let's start with the 2 main reasons why I gonna die sometimes in missions are mainly because I get foamed or because I get choked, mainly. And here you can see, usually I run this here, depends on the mission, but mainly is it with True Sons. They have a lot of foam guys. Then I use this one because if I have holstered this baby here, I get ensnare resistance. for 5 seconds, and every 60 seconds I can use it. So this works pretty well. If somebody with a foamer or whatever it's called comes to you up close and try to foam you, then I have resistance, and this works pretty well. So I don't gonna die, I'm not stuck the first time, and this works pretty well. And then the secondary weapon too, here you can see transmission, so the shock applied to the agent transferred to an enemy within 10 meters. Honestly, really honestly with you, I don't think this talent works really accurate, because I got shocked sometimes here as well, although I used this weapon. Don't know why, I don't know if this works not or whatever. If you have some experience as well, just let me know, would be really interesting to hear. But let's continue to the mask. So the mask I use here is a Murakami, pretty decent gear brand in my opinion, because it has health or increases the health stat, so more survivability. I have health on kill, damage to elites, and damage to elites as well as a talent. So just with this one here I got 48% damage to elites, pretty high, not the most decent one you can get. And yeah, this one has potential as well, because instead of health on kill I would really prefer to have even health or armor. If possible, I'm not even sure if it's possible on the mask, but definitely health, if possible, would be much more beneficial for me. So this is it for the mask, and as I said before, I have already a better one, which you can see, where is it? Here, with 45% damage to elites, and I haven't even had to reroll, or I hadn't even rerolled the talent here to damage to elites. Then I would have just on the mask 60% damage to elites, which is pretty insane. But yeah, I'm not using this mask right now because it decreases my armor first of all, and yeah, I'm not quite sure, because health at the moment I like it a little more, but I will definitely gonna try out this in another run as well. But as you can see, it has health on kill too, so I'm trying to get a better mask as well, and probably can re-roll the damage to elites to the other one. But as you see, still potential. Then the chest piece. I use here a really awesome setup, so weapon damage and bonus armor, health. For me, the best 3 talents you can get on a chest, for me personally. Then the talents are Unstoppable Force, a really awesome one as well, and Hardened to increase the armor. Yes, my build is focused around a pretty high armor roll on every gear piece, and a pretty high armor stat in general. And yeah, Unstoppable Force for sure benefits quite a lot if you have a lot of armor. And many people were asking me why I don't run this one here, Unbreakable, anymore. The simple reason, to be honest with you, is just because I haven't got a good piece of gear which has this talent, and the other 2 or 3 as well. So the first one I got was with this talent here, and yeah, actually I like it quite a lot. I wouldn't say it's all the time better. Oh, please, not yet. It's every time. It depends a little bit what you are doing, and in heroic missions or missions where you can't kill the NPCs as fast, I would really prefer to have Unbreakable, because it increases your survivability quite a lot. If you would like to hear more about this, just watch my last build video where I show you and explained this talent here. But Unstoppable Force, really an awesome talent. You get a huge increase of damage. So as you can see, I have more than 260,000 armor, means 52% more damage after a kill from an NPC. That's why I usually focus a red bar first, so I can get a pretty fast kill and then have increased damage for the rest. And this is actually the reason why I run now this one here with an extended magazine, because then I can just benefit a little more before I have to reload. And yeah, then it doesn't matter that much if I have more Allegro on it and more fire rate than more mag capacity. So I think the more mag capacity is even better after a kill, to just use it a little more and a little longer. That's the main reason. As a mod, if you're interested on this one here, I run weapon damage, LMG damage, so it's a pretty cool one, pretty decent one I would say. Increases the main stats from a main gun. Then the holster, you have to run a patch of peace for sure if you run LMG as a main weapon, because you get 10% LMG damage. It is the same if you run an assault rifle, you should run Fenris, 10% weapon damage, Sokolov if you run an SMG, and so on and so on. But yeah, I would really like to change this out, to be honest with you, to this one here, because I have a really awesome health stat on this. But yeah, I don't have another good piece of Petrov, and that's what I said at the beginning. Don't copy paste just the build, put together what pieces you got and make the best out of it. So this is really important. But yeah, I need a Petrov piece. I would really rather prefer to have a backpack pad off instead of the one I use now, so I can run a holster and I have much more survivability with this holster and more damage as well because of devastating 5% weapon damage. So you can see still a lot of potential. Then the backpack. Guard, it's a really awesome brand in my opinion as well. Total armor is really nice to have, 5%. Then the attributes are pretty decent except one stat, so bonus armor and health are awesome. Cooldown reduction, honestly I would prefer to have a weapon damage here as well to increase this one even more. That would be really awesome. Then as a talent I have Safeguard, which requires 5 or less firearms. I can fulfill this with ease, even if I would run a backpack with health weapon damage with a weapon damage on it. And then again, as on the chest piece, Hardened to increase the armor even more. And Safeguard, it's a really awesome talent, one of the best ones to increase your survivability. Then it works not even with your skills that are increase the healing or have a healing effect. It works even with Unbreakable on the chest, or it works with the Patience on the knee pads as well. As an example, Patience 150% more means you get 12.5% after 3 seconds armor back each second. Sounds complicated, means in short in 11 seconds in cover you're back in full armor. If you don't get hit anymore for sure. So this is a really awesome talent. For mods on this one here I use bonus armor, total armor and armor on kill. And yeah, if you get one with total armor, it's always one of the best ones you can get, because if you have really high armor, for sure every percentage more is quite a lot more worth than just a stat here. So even if you have one with 2000 at 2%, it's better than one with 3000, 3500 and 0% total armor increase. Then this one here is skill power burn damage, doesn't matter too much because skills are not as viable with the mods at the moment in my opinion, so it's not worth having too much into skill power at the moment at least. Let's see what they're gonna change after the PTS next week, Wednesday, and then probably I have to change my build as well, and for sure I will hold you up to date for sure. So the gloves, I changed this lately to the Alp Summit here with cooldown reduction and LMG damage. I've still potential you can get max 12% here, so I still miss 2%, but I haven't got a better piece right now. Suck RNG sometimes, unfortunately. Sorry for the word, but it's really hard, as I said, to get the right pieces. Then the mod on this one here is another skill power one, not too important. And talent, yeah, it's not the best one. I can't even unlock it, but I don't care too much. I would for sure prefer another talent here, but yeah, at the moment it's one of the best ones I got. And as I said before, on the run I was using this one here, but actually one of my awesome subs just mentioned to me if I should test out if this really works compensated, and honestly it seems like it doesn't work, at least for me. Would be interesting to hear what is your experience. Let me know in the comments please, would be really nice to hear, but at least on the stats or on the damage in the shooting range I can't figure out the difference. So but this one here for sure would be pretty awesome, because I get weapon handling, health and LMG damage, and if compensated would work, then this would just be insane, to be honest. Yeah, this would be really nice. I have to test it out again. It's such a nice talent to have, because yeah, I don't run any crit chance, crit damage, so it would be really nice to have. Then the final piece, the Fenris group knee pads, protection from elites for PvE, for sure, it's really awesome to have. Then health modified. Honestly, I would like to have here instead of health armor. I have to get a better piece with an armor roll, because for me armor it's just a little more important, and I guess I could increase it furthermore to up to 270k, 275 probably, and yeah, then I have more damage as well through Unstoppable Force, and as a talent, damage to elites to increase the damage even more against elites, and Patience as I mentioned already before. So this is my setup I was using on my solo run, and I will use this or pretty much the same on the raids as well for sure. And then just a quick word to the talents, and you can see right now as well I changed them too. So I changed them depending on the difficulty I do. I changed them on the team setup I run with, and just match every talent I run that it suits together with the other ones. Pretty good. And if you have watched my run on the heroic mission, then you probably figured out that I was running the revive hive. Simple reason, you don't have a respawn point and yeah, you have to start all over again. And because of these little annoying warhound doggies, they can easily one-shot you even with such a high amount of stamina, armor and health. It's pretty annoying, but sometimes it's just impossible to go in cover in the right amount of time, and yeah, you get shot and you get killed sometimes or on the floor, and then you need something to be revived on this mission right now. And yeah, that's why the main reason I run this. I usually don't run it because I don't want to get used to it too much. Main reason, many people I see that run this revive hive just act pretty, not stupid I would say, but they rush a little too hard. They just always think, yeah, I have a revive hive, if I go down, doesn't matter. But yeah, you adapt a wrong playstyle in my opinion. That's why I don't like it too much. And on the heroic run, I was running the fire turret, and yeah, the main reason I was running solo, so they rush pretty hard and I needed something to have a little crowd control. And at the moment, the flame turret is for me the best thing to have if you want to have a crowd control, even in a group. Yes, unfortunately with the last patch they nerfed the cam launcher, unfortunately. Makes me pretty sad. The cam launcher, it was so fun to use before as a skill build, but they decreased the range quite a lot. So I had around 10 meters before, and now after the patch with the same stats and stuff, around 3 meters, so it's useless in my opinion. The heal for sure it's pretty good too, but it's on console pretty hard to use with the double tap, so mainly I end up just healing up the enemy instead of myself or the NPC, and I got killed because instead of weapon bullets I shoot just heals on the NPC, which is kind of annoying, but that's why I don't run it too much anymore, to be honest, at the moment. And if I run normal stuff, let's say challenging missions and stuff like this, I usually run the seeker mines, the cluster ones, and for me it's the new pulse, to be honest. So you can see pretty good where the NPCs are. You get a huge red circle around them, and yeah, you can deal damage to them. You can bring them out of cover because they get suppressed pretty easy, especially if you use an LMG or an assault rifle. Doesn't matter too much which one, but they act a little more clever than before, and you can bring them out of cover. That's why I like to have the seeker mines a lot. And as a healing one, I usually run around with the the fixer drone, and the healing is quite good, I would say. Heals quite good. I don't have the right mods because my skill power is too low at the moment on this build. But yeah, you can see the duration is 3 minutes, so quite long. And the cooldown is quite long too, but you know it already, I guess. If you destroy it a short amount of time before it gets deployed by themselves, then you have just half amount of cooldown. I guess it's a glitch. I guess it got fixed soon. At the moment it is not, so I would use it if you can. And yeah, then you have a pretty cool toy to heal yourself. So this is the main reason, or the main gadgets I run as a skill if I run especially solo. And as I said, in a group I just mix it up whatever it's needed. So this is already my setup, and at the end, as I mentioned at the beginning, I just lose some words, 2-3 sentences about skill builds. I could make it really short. Yes, skill builds at the moment in my opinion are useless. That's my opinion. I tested out really quite a lot, and as I talk about at the moment about damage skill builds, and yeah, I tested around quite a lot, as you can see, skill builds in PvP and really different setups and stuff. And this was my one I was using already before they patched and nerfed it. And yeah, even with this one here, even if I can unlock pretty much every skill mod, it's just ridiculously weak in my opinion. So it's not worth using, unfortunately. But I guess they're gonna change something about this. I have my faith in them that they're gonna change it in a good way, and I guess we will have soon a pretty good skill build, and for sure I will hold you up to date until the time we get a decent skill build, or as soon as we get one, for sure. And yeah, that's it already for this one here, and the other one I tried out as well. Just to show you quickly, I was trying around to do a decent flame turret build, because with ongoing directive you're gonna get some burn damage here, but it's too weak as well, to be honest. And yeah, the whole story about the mods, it's really just a mess right now. In my opinion, it's really in a bad condition, in my opinion. And yeah, the skill mods, sometimes they're stronger if you have lower ones. The same with the gear mods, and there's such a huge variety. The increasement at the moment is too low, so it's really kind of a mess. And especially the handling, the organization in your stash, It's pretty clunky too, although with the registers at the side. But yeah, I don't like it at the moment, to be honest. All the skill mod things and the gear mod thing. Yeah, that's my opinion about the skill builds and my build. So I do really hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was useful for you. If so, then please leave a like. It's really appreciated. Helps me a ton. Leave a comment down below, a thumbs up, and tell me what's your experience about the build. What works for you. Would really appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot for your time being and your time watching the video. It's appreciated as well. Have a great day, great night, whatever time it is. Happy farming. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.